This is part 2 of do you need specialist equipment to make a quilt? And I'm not just meaning a charm square quilt with pre-cuts. This is a slightly more challenging quilt. So I'm going to go over the steps I covered in part 1. First of all, I used this to cut out 4.5-inch squares because I have this. In hindsight, I would have just cut out a square template because the edge, the thickness of the edge sometimes made it difficult to be accurate. So you cut out your squares and then you press them. That's step 1 and 2 I mentioned in the last video. You then you pin them together. This is the patterned one with the white. I also have green with white. You pin them and draw a diagonal line corner to corner. And then step 4 is sew either side of the line. Now a lot of people you watch making quilts say you don't need a back stitch there, but I find that the threads are very loose, so I started back stitching at either end. So that's step 3 and 4. Step 5 is then to cut along that diagonal line, and then you can open them up, and that's when you go and press them, and you'll have these little dog ears. So then you press them and you trim them to 4 inches. Well, that's what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be these sides. And I cut myself, as I explained in the last video, 4-inch template like this. I wondered did anybody notice what it actually said on the scrap card. Plan your funeral your way. So I don't know if this quilt is going to be to the death of me. So that's the patterned one, and that's the sailboat. Then you pin them in pairs. And I'm going to just show you this. So this, I'll have to take this out though. This is my sailboat design here. So my even rows I start with plain and then patterned. So if you're going to stagger that, you would need to pin them in the right way because it makes it a lot easier. Because at some point you'll have to add an extra one to the beginning or end if you didn't think that through. You sew them in pairs like this one, and I do back stitch beginning and end. And then this is the next part, and it'll probably be part 3 of the video, where you have it together and you work out how many you need in a row. So that will be part 3.